are looking live.
There's something sacred about this stadium and this setting. There's nothing like this venue, in my opinion, in all of sports.
The setting is about as good as anywhere in the country. With the San Gabriel Mountains in the backdrop, it's always picturesque.
We're going to play football. Yippee! He's going for the corner. He's got it. Vince Young scores.
Hello and welcome to a Thursday night edition of Rose Bowl Live. I'm your host, Brian Brantley, and on behalf of the entire stadium team and our CEO, Daryl Dunn, we hope that you and your families are safe and healthy during this very challenging time. We'd also like to thank all the thousands of folks that have been tuning in week after week to hear from our all-star panel of guests who are very much a part of our Rose Bowl family. And tonight's guest is someone we're very happy to have on. I know there are a lot of Big 12 defensive coordinators who were very happy to see him leave the University of Texas. And so he's a back-to-back Rose Bowl MVP, scored 7 touchdowns in 2 games. Just remember that, 7 touchdowns in 2 games. He is a 2-time NFL Pro Bowler. He's a national college football national champion with the University of Texas. His jersey is retired by the University of Texas, and he is now a member of the College Football Hall of Fame class of 2019. Tonight, we welcome Mr. Vince Young. Vince, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, Brian, thank you, man, and appreciate Rose Bowl Live for having me on.
We just get started. For those of you tuning in on Facebook or YouTube, make sure you put your comments there so we can try to ask some questions of Vince, have a Q&A at the end of our short time with Vince. We have a lot to get to. There's a lot of great things to talk about with Vince. So we'll get started with, kind of what's going on in the world right now. First, hope that you and your family are safe during the pandemic that we're all kind of going through, and particularly, the last month or so has been a challenging one. And so what are your initial thoughts in regards to being a black man in America today?
Well, I mean, it's been really hard. It's been really tough to see a lot of the things that's been happening. As an African black male, it's tough to see that the people that are supposed to protect us are killing us. And, me playing the position that I played in, I wouldn't say mine is serious to the extent of, someone getting killed, but, playing at this position that as a black quarterback, it was tough always as well. And to see these things happening, it's time for change for our world. And I'm really glad a lot of people are starting to pay attention. I wish, these guys would just push the button and stop talking. Everybody is still talking. I wish everybody would just go ahead and push the button, and we say we're the land of the free and everything. I know that we want to lead by example for the other countries. I really feel like we should just move forward and do what's right. And we got so much history. Everybody is arguing and fighting. It's just ridiculous, man. And I hate seeing it because I'm a guy that I have white friends. I have Asian friends. I have all friends, and I get along with all my friends all together. And I understand the pain that, everybody's going through. But I just really feel like everybody just the guys that's upstairs pushing the button, I just feel like they need to go ahead and push the button and stop playing around, because we really need this for everybody. But I really want everybody to recognize what's going on to us black people as well, though.
Yeah. Speaking of, you said you played the position, you played quarterback, you started out as a kid, you grew up there in the Houston area, in Houston, you went to Madison High School, but as a kid growing up, you played football, basketball, baseball, around track, and tying the two together, I mean, you gravitated to these sports. Did you dream of being a professional athlete? Did you have sports heroes back then and when you were growing up there in Houston?
Yeah, it was tough growing up as a kid here in Houston. So, we was living from check to check. So we were trying to make sure we got the lights on, the water on, and trying to figure out how to pay bills. And I was raised by nothing but women, and I didn't have a father figure in my household. So I had some strong women just taking care of a little black young man, little bad little boy. And my mom was like, "You are not going to continue to just come home from school and just go outside and get in trouble with your friends. I'm about to put your little butt in some football." And a friend of mine, Daffer Coleman, was playing for the Brentwood Dolphins in the neighborhood team. And he took me down there and I did tryouts. And then the rest was history from there.
So, yeah. So with all those sports that you were playing, was football your favorite, or because you played baseball, you ran track, you played basketball. Was football the number one sport for you that you loved to play?
Well, I'm sorry to say this to all my football fans. I love me some basketball. I still play it to this day for cardio. Me and my son gets out there and shoots some hoops a lot. So I really do love basketball. I love watching it. I love the way, LeBron and the guys are just doing really good, have been really good role models. It's great. I'm not taking nothing away from football. I definitely love the game because I'm a physical guy. But I just like a lot, the shooting threes and dunking, those type of things. And those things was fun for me when I was growing up. So, yeah, I'd say I definitely love basketball. But football was definitely really good for me and my family because the game was really good to me. And I enjoyed every moment of it, especially meeting a lot of my teammates and all my friends that I have to this day, man. I love hanging out with some of my guys. I got some silly, silly friends, man.
Exactly. Well, and so I see you're representing the Houston Astros.
Go Astros.
Right. So that the team you kind of followed when you were a kid? Who did you follow when you were growing up?
Yeah, so I was a Rockets, Clyde Drexler, Hakeem Olajuwon, Calvin Murphy. The list goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Astros, man, I've been watching them since I was a kid, from the Bagwells to the Nolan Ryans.
Yeah.
And then and then the Houston Oilers. I love the Oilers. I used to work at the Carnival in Houston, and a lot of times when that season was coming around, I didn't have the type of money to get into the stadium. So me being a worker, I used to sneak in there and watch the Oilers games. So I used to love watching Warren Moon and Haywood Jeffries, Ernest Givens, Ray Children. I know the whole list of those guys. So I enjoy watching the Oilers all my life. And then also when Steve McNair got signed to the Houston Oilers, and I remember that game. I was there when he had got in for his first game. And I was like, whoa, this is a big dude. And I was a little skinny kid too. And I'm like, dude, I got to get that big to play quarterback in the NFL. So, yeah, I used to love watching the Oilers and Rockets. I'm still a fan to this day. I'm so happy that we won a World Series. We did good in basketball as well. So we just waiting on my boy Deshaun Watson to go and bring it home.
Understood. And speaking of how tall, you grew into your frame and everything else. And so you were going to college. And so when you started to get noticed in high school, what other schools, you were the guy. So what other schools looked at you? Were you close to going anywhere else other than University of Texas?
Yeah, Coach Seals did a really good job. Coach Seals, my high school coach, is the man out here in Houston. He's a legendary high school coach. And he did a really good job of, just keeping a lot of that stuff away from me because I was getting recruited just about from everyone. And I really wanted to go to Florida State because I was a big fan of Charlie Ward, Warren Dunn, Coach Bobby Bowden. And I really wanted to go there. And when I got my first letter from them guys, they was talking about wide receiver, and it hurted me because I wanted to go play quarterback there. And they was like, we want you to play wide receiver. So, when I saw that, I kind of threw that in the trash and went on to the next schools and, Texas and Southern Miss, Arkansas, Notre Dame. Those guys were pretty much my top schools that I was very interested in playing in. And then also the U of H, they wasn't recruiting me at all. A lot of us guys that was in high school, we wanted to stay in the same in our city and put Houston U of H on the map. And all the guys was like, well, they not recruiting me. I'm like, what?
Wow. So you go to Austin and you go to, Coach Brown was there, and you get there in your first year, you redshirt of your freshman year, 2002. And then in 2003, you jumped in. I know Chance Mock was the quarterback at the time, and you guys kind of alternated a little bit later in the season. But I believe your first game was that season was in the Red Rivalry game, Oklahoma. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think my first starting game that year was Iowa State, but I was kind of in and out after the Arkansas game when we lost at home. After that we played K-State, and then we had Oklahoma that next week, and then we was back and forth, and then after that I ended up taking a job after that.
Right. Yeah, right. So how was that for you? I mean, you coming in, you're this guy. Were you nervous coming in the huddle? Like when the guys were looking at you, you're calling the play. You're like, okay, I'm the quarterback at the University of Texas. Like
I was very nervous
at the beginning.
I was very nervous. When you got guys like Roy Williams, a legendary wide receiver, B.J. Johnson, Jason Glenn. I mean, these guys are seniors at the level, playing in the college, and I'm just a little baby boy stepping into the huddle. So yeah, I was always nervous. So but I always had confidence in my game. So I just wanted to always earn respect. So I didn't want nobody to give me anything. So I just went out there and put that jersey on and represented the University of Texas and my last name, and just showed the world that I can play this position, because I was always doubted that I couldn't play that position. So I did what I had to do behind the scenes to get ready and prepared. And I can honestly say, Chance Mock had a lot to do with that. Even though a lot of people was trying to make it a controversial quarterback position, but he actually helped me. He actually took time out to talk to me and study with me and teach me. So I give a lot of respect to Chance Mock, because when them type of battles go on, it can be a heated situation. But I can honestly say Chance Mock really helped me out, and it was total opposite. He was more of a supporter than anything.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And now going, you finish the rest of that season. Then you go into your sophomore year, or your, redshirt freshman year, I guess. And that 04 season, tell us, how did you approach that year? Because now you're the starter. Now you just talked about there's no competition. You're the guy. The guys are looking at you now. You got to carry the load. People are expecting a lot from you. Take us through that sophomore campaign. Did you see anything specially? Because that was a special team. So what did you see there for that early during fall camp? What did you see for yourself and for the team?
Well, I just know we had a lot of talent, and hands down, we had the best defense, I think, in the country, because going against those guys every day, they really made me a really outstanding quarterback, from Aaron Ross to Nate Vasher. I mean, oh my God. And that year, Matt Norgan was hurt and Chance Mock was hurt. So a lot of times when we was doing off-season workouts, it was just me and a walk-on quarterback. So I was at least getting, 100 to 200 throws in twice a week. So that made me stronger, because I was actually a run quarterback veer coming out of high school. So I wasn't really a good passer. So it had to take a lot of me doing a lot of throws and studying with my coach and kind of understanding, how to read cover 2, cover 3, these type of defenses, because I didn't know nothing about none of that stuff. So when I had an opportunity to work out in the off season, I think my off season made it more easier for me when the season came, because me and my teammates, we wasn't only 7-on-7 in the off season. We used to do 11-on-11, which we was probably could have got in trouble with, but we was actually out there going through plays, and we was out there getting prepared. And one thing I did like about our off season, we used to go drive up to A&M and play them 7-on-7, or go to Texas State down the street and play them 7-on-7. So just seeing different other people other than ourselves all summertime, I think it was really good for me and my leaders to, say, hey, guys, let's drive up to A&M this week and play them guys, and then them guys drive up next week and they play us. So we used to stay active of trying to compete all summer, and when the game time came, it was pretty much easy for us.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And I know, that season, that '04 season, you make it all the way. The only loss was to Oklahoma in the Red Rivalry game. Lost 12-0. Obviously, always want to get back at that. We'll get back to that question a little bit later. I know we'll get into all that. But you to the Rose Bowl. Now there was some that first Rose Bowl game. Go 11-1 in '04. You finish second to Oklahoma in the Big 12 South. So they go represent, but you guys sneak your way into the Rose Bowl game. There was some controversy and all that. We'll let the other folks, go through that controversy. But you guys, it all worked out. And this game actually was overshadowed by the game we'll get to in a little bit. But this game was an unbelievable back and forth, amazing Rose Bowl game. So for those of you who are listening and tuning in, I know the Longhorn fans know it, and I know Michigan fans just are right now turning it off. But this is an amazing game to watch through and through, just the back and forth with both clubs. And it's the first time that Texas even played Michigan, which is hard to believe.
Yeah.
But they play in the Rose Bowl and the granddaddy of them all. So what was that first Rose Bowl like for you? You scored 4 touchdowns in that game. So what was going on in there?
Well, it was, I believe it was the coming out party for Texas. I mean, that was our first BCS game. And before I say that, I just want to say shout out to Aaron Rodgers. Because when I played in Green Bay, when I first got there, that was the first story we talked about in our quarterback room. We were supposed to play Michigan that year, and they ended up playing OU and getting their butt whooped by OU that year too. So that was the first thing he mentioned. So I wanted to throw that out there for Aaron Rodgers to let him know we was the right team to go, because what happened to y'all at OU, that was horrible. But the Michigan game was pretty much our coming out party. Didn't nobody really know who we were as a team. They knew the state of Texas, how football is big, but they didn't know we were some upcoming young guys really wanted to change everything that was going on campus, with us going 9-7 or not having these really good years. But to have that first year to go to the Rose Bowl for the BCS, I thought it was outstanding. It showed how much we worked in the off season. And we almost blew our whole season with Kansas that year. We was down like really bad, and we came back and won. We really almost messed our whole season up, but we finished the season well. And I was very honored, because that was a tough year, because we had a lot of guys getting hurt and falling and all of the above. But we actually finished the season on a good note. And a lot of shout out to Michigan, because Braden Elwitz, he was tearing us up. Chad Henne. I mean, they had an outstanding defense. I mean, it was a tough game.
Yes, it really was an amazing game. And for those people who didn't get a chance to see it, hopefully you will. I'm going to spoil it for you. Dusty Mangum lines up for the kick, and with a few seconds left to go in the game, what were you going through your thoughts through your head when you get to the sideline? This is it. You're going to possibly win the Rose Bowl. It's on Dusty Mangum's foot. What was your thought as the leader of the team?
I was nervous because I think they got a block or something early that game. So I was very nervous, and I'm looking at coach like, let's go for it. But he was like, let's give it to Dustin. And Dustin, man, I got a lot of respect for Dustin, man. He's the man right now, and still to this day in Austin, Texas. So, when coach called it, I ran to the other side of the end zone and got on my knees and prayed. I didn't even look. All I was doing is waiting for our fans to jump up right there in that end zone I was at. And then when I heard it, when I was good and saw my teammates running on the football field, it was like, it was a perfect how we finished our season, because, again, that was a tough game playing against Michigan.
Sure. Okay, so now we win, and the comment, the confetti's coming down, and you're on the platform there and the podium, and you're getting the trophy, and you had the confidence to say, we'll be back. And that was, you knew, right? And you knew it was the next year, the Rose Bowl was going to be the national championship game. And you said, we'll be back. After beating Michigan, you're the MVP. What gave you confidence in that team and in yourself to make a statement like that? I mean, it's not quite Joe Namath's Super Bowl, but it's it's pretty nice there with that confidence that you had in yourself and your team. What gave you that confidence?
Well, I know I definitely made Coach Brown nervous for saying
Ex-
But when growing up as a kid and being a kid that was always going to church with my family, and one of the things that we always say at church is, you know, what is it? Speak it and it will exist. So I was always hearing that growing up. If you want something, talk about it and ask for it or pray about it. So when you speak about it, I just had so much faith in my team and my teammates. I just knew what type of guys I had around me, what kind of characters, and how much talent I had around me. So I was really confident in those guys that we will be back, because all we was hearing that whole week while we was there getting prepared for the game was, the Michigan, the championship game is here next year as well. I'm looking like, okay, then we'll be back here again. So I just had confidence in my teammates and my coaching staff that we'll do what it takes to get there, because we really had a really good team. And then we had some outstanding young guys that was up next that I knew about, that I used to throw the ball to. And, I knew what we had for the guys that was going to be leaving and the guys that was going to be stepping in. So I had a really a lot of confidence in my team.
Yeah. So we go into 05 and obviously becomes the year, and you guys go undefeated. You beat your rival in Oklahoma. You jumped on them pretty good that year. But you had a tough schedule. This wasn't anything easy, during that year. There were some tough games. You played on the road at Ohio State. You guys get the win 25-22 in Columbus, which is hard to do. It's a hard place to play. So they were ranked 4, you were ranked 2. Take us through that, that game. What were your takeaways from that game, going into the game, getting into Columbus, playing in that front of that, into the shoe, and coming out of there with a win?
Yeah, that atmosphere was crazy. I think they never lost at night at a night game or something like that. Like, it was a crazy number. I mean, that was my first time, or all of our first time, playing in front of 106 or 7,000 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it was rocking in there. So I was nervous the whole game going against those defense they had. They had A.J. Hawk and Carpenter and Whitner. I mean, the list goes on of the talent that they had on the other side of the ball. And I actually told that, to A.J. Hawk when I was playing in Green Bay. I say, dude, you was one of the best linebackers I ever played. Because I kept telling my offense, like, will somebody block number 47, please? Because he was all over me. And I tell people, they look at that game, you can look at my jersey, will tell how many times he hit at me. But it was a tough game, and we pulled through, like we always do. I really feel like we have been in that position a lot the year before. And then also I feel like the offseason, getting prepared for that game, that's all we was talking about. That's all you saw in our locker room was Ohio State. And if we was, well, how Coach mentioned it, if we to go down to Columbus and win that game in that type of atmosphere, it's going to show what type of team we are going to be through the whole year. So when Coach passed that message to us, I thought about that, and I told the guys, like, we got to go out here and take care of business, because this going to help us in the long run to where we trying to go, is to the ship. And we pulled it through, and it wasn't easy. It was not easy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's another great game, and what was going on there. And again, for those people who are tuning on Facebook and YouTube, we'll do a Q&A towards the end. So please keep sending those questions in on both platforms. But in that year, you beat your rival by 33 in Oklahoma, and then you come to the Oklahoma State game, the comeback game. Out on the road, and again you were down, and then you came, and then you hit the gas pedal, and that was it. So, what were your quick thoughts of that game?
Well, I mean, every game we went through, it was we just had so much talent. I can't not stop saying that, because I mean, it wasn't about anybody else to us. It was about us. And that year that we won against Michigan, I remember the year when coming up to that year, everybody was calling us soft. calling Texas football weak. They even was talking about Mad Dog. So our strength coach, his name is huge, and he actually took it out on us because people was calling him weak. So we was at them 5:30, 6:30 workouts in the morning. He's out there beating us up. We going to our 8, 9 o'clock classes. We can't even walk in the classroom. Well, I blame all the media for that. So y'all need to cut that stuff out. But he definitely got us prepared to play that whole year, and we was in great shape. So it wasn't really about everybody else. It was all about, us.
Sure. Okay, so now we get to, arguably, it's been argued that it's the greatest college football game ever. So as we go there, you're coming in, you're ranked 2, they're ranked 1. You're going against Pete Carroll and Reggie Bush and Lendell White and all those guys on that powerhouse team that was at USC. And here comes Texas, and you guys have some swagger too. You guys played in the Rose Bowl the year before, beat Michigan, and now you're back. So take us prior to that game kicking off. What was your mindset going against USC going into that game? What was your thoughts in preparation, and then what were your thoughts this time around? Was there anything different from playing Michigan? Did you feel more comfortable playing because you were coming back?
Well, Brian, if I can say this, I was pissed off. Because I lost to Heisman, I think, the weeks before that, to an outstanding guy that I still respect to this day is Reggie Bush. Mm-hmm. But I was really upset that I didn't win that. And I wanted to bring that trophy home back to Texas, because Ricky Williams and Earl Campbell, they was the guys that brought it to Texas. And I wanted to make sure we had a number 3 in there. And I had to go against the speedster, the Bush, the president. So when Coach kind of gave me some inside stuff that I might don't win, I was like, oh man, I cried that whole day. And I called Rod Wright that he was our leader on our defensive line. I said, Rod, get the guys together and let them know we going to LA and we about to kick some butt. So we went in that game with a lot of confidence in ourselves. And we also was happy that we was the underdogs of that game because we didn't have all the pressure that Reggie and them all had and Matt and them had. They had mostly all the pressure, because the media was hyping them up, going against this team in 1969 and all this type of stuff. And we was upset that we wasn't getting the respect that we deserved. Like we just was basically 12-0 for no reason. So, we made sure that when it was time for us to go prepare for the game, we was preparing and getting ourselves ready. We did all the festivities and everything. Rose Bowl committee had us doing the steaks, the Disney World, Disneyland. We did everything and stayed nice and calm and cool. Like these guys are really nice. When that game comes, we turn on the heat. Exactly. But that was an outstanding game, and I got a lot of respect for Pete Carroll and USC, man. And every time I'm in LA, they call me Trojan Killer out there, but it's always still a lot of love, though. And I appreciate everybody across the world who watched that game and always still to this day give us a lot of respect, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was, obviously everybody knows, a lot has happened from the years from that game, the punch, counter punch, the back and forth of that game as well, like the Michigan game in a lot of ways. But, you have the fantastic call by the legendary Keith Jackson. And, for me being a college football fan and you live those moments, you love for competition, you love watching when people compete and you get that call. And I remember, I don't know what it's like for you, but when you hear he's going for the corner, he's got it, Vince Young scores. I know you've probably seen it a million times, but what does that do for you, and how does that make you feel when you hear that and hear the legendary Keith Jackson and Dan Fouts doing the call and coming through on 4th and 5 to win a national title?
That just gives me chills every time I hear it. Because they show it so much on TV, and me and my son, or anybody, friends or family, we sit there and watch it like it's our first time every time it comes on TV. But to know the legendary Keith Jackson, one of his last games to announce that, man, that's just, in history. And to have opportunity to meet him and shake his hand. I even got a picture with him, and to hear him say that memorable moment at that moment, say that, I mean, it just always gives me chills.
Yeah, it's great because I do a really bad imitation of that, but I love watching that right there. Okay, let's talk about the Red River Rivalry. We as college football fans, we love rivalries. It doesn't matter how big or small. It doesn't matter if it's Ohio State, Michigan, USC, UCLA, Harvard, Yale. It doesn't Auburn and Alabama, but we have the Red River Rivalry and Oklahoma and Texas. What makes that so special to play in, and those two schools, and you guys just get after it there in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas?
It's just so much history, man, with Bob Stoops and Mac Brown going at it, from Roy Williams jumping over the top and hitting Chris Sims and making him fumble for a touchdown. There's so much history with that game. And then the fans, I mean, the festivity, the carnival. I mean, for us to cross that line, to go against that guys, and I think they're trying to move it. I hope they don't move it. I hope they keep it in Dallas. But it's just so much history about that game. It's so fired up. Everybody gets ready. I remember when Jamal Charles, with that run right there, when he was a true freshman, he came in there talking about, we're going to make y'all guys forget about Adrian Peterson. We was like, dude, slow down. You talking about this guy who ran for 2,000 yards last year. Slow down, man. When he win that game, he ran more yards than Adrian Peterson in that game. We were shocked. So we all was like, we gave Jamal Charles a lot of respect after that. But it's so much history behind that game, and I'm just honored to be a part of it. And, and our fans, I really appreciate our fans for both sides. I mean, they go a little bit harder than us, especially on Friday night. Those guys on wherever that little street they be on, and you can hear the fans going, Texas, fire. Like, Texas suck, going at it. So I give a lot of respect to our fans as well as the players, but our fans do a really good job of making that game very exciting, as well as the Cotton Bowl as well.
Yeah, sure. Okay, that takes us into getting drafted. I mean, you in the 06 draft, you're drafted by the Tennessee Titans with the third pick, and now you're transitioning into the NFL, and they always talk about the speed of the NFL. And what that transition's like. What was that transition like for you? I mean, everybody has a welcome to the NFL moment. So what was yours, or what was, how was that transition for you in that welcome to the NFL and that, make it to that next jump?
Well, that was a crazy whirlwind for me and Reggie and Matt Liner. I know that much. These guys and myself, man, we was all over the place together. And that's why I feel like that's why we have a great relationship to this day, because we had an opportunity to be around each other for at least 2 or 3 months and really getting to know each other. And even though, these guys lost the game, we were still kind of laughing and hanging out, and our families was meeting each other and talking and really proud of each other, all of us. So I think that was, really kept our mind off a lot of what was really going on, the hype around us going into the draft. I think we was really focused on just hanging out together, and me, being a poor young man, poor family, to have my entire family out there at the draft, to throw snowballs at my grandmother, to go, visit the Statue of Liberty. I mean, just being in New York with my family, I thought, that was the excitement for me, to take my mind off all the hoop-ha and the hype that was going on. But, after I hear my name go across that stage, my name get called on that stage, it's like a dream come true. I mean, as a kid, that's what you work hard for. A lot of us athletes don't make it to the green room and to the draft day room and things like that. But my whole life kind of flashed in front of me when I scored that touchdown and when my name was called. Like, all the stuff that I went through as a kid growing up, all the stuff that I saw with my family being poor, I was like, I'm finally here where all the hard work really paid off. So that was most of the first chapter for me. Now let's get real. Let's get ready, because you about to go out here with some grown men now. So let's see how you match up now.
Exactly. So in that first year, your rookie year, the campaign, you don't start. Kerry Collins is the starter there, and then right around, I think it was game 5, you got inserted as the starter, and I think there was a loss there, but then there was a streak in there where you won 6 in a row, and you guys, missed the playoffs by 1 game, and you earned Rookie of the Year honors. Going and winning, getting even faced on the cover of the Madden video game. So that first year had to be a whirlwind for you. What did anybody take you under their wing? Did you learn how, as you said, those grown men, what did you learn, and did anybody kind of help you out in that beginning part?
Yeah, I was very nervous. I'm not going to even lie. I was nervous, scared, all of the above, because again, you're in here with these grown men that have been in the league probably 6 to 10 years. And when Coach Fisher brought me into his office and he was like, "Hey, Vince, I'm giving you the keys to a Hummer." And I'm thinking like, "Coach Fisher, you bought me a Hummer?" Like a car. I'm really thinking he bought me a car. No, he's like, "No, I'm talking about the keys to the team, you the starting quarterback." Mm-hmm. And my mouth just dropped. I was like, almost was about to pee on myself or something. I was so nervous because I wasn't comfortable yet. But, being around Kerry Collins and watching him, how he prepared himself for the game, and being around Keith Bullock, a really outstanding leader that was on our team. I had some people around there that I was comfortable with because I met before with Steve McNair, because I was being around him so much. I was really hanging around those guys and kind of really watching them, how they prepare themselves and how you go to your meetings and, how you carry yourself as a professional. And when I got that key to the Hummer, I just went out there and played and tried to do what I did. I felt like I was at Texas all over again when Coach Brown first gave me the keys to that Hummer. Mm-hmm. I felt like that again, but at this time it was on the level of the pros. So I just wanted to go out there and just play my game. And Coach Norm Child just basically said, just go play. If you make a mistake, just put it in the past. This is your first game. Don't worry about it. We're going to fix it the next week. Just go play football. And when he told me that, that's exactly what I did. But I was definitely nervous my first game. And it was against the Cowboys.
Yes. Yeah. So, and through that, again, where you grew up there in Houston and playing at Texas and now making it the pros, and there are challenges. We all face adversity. And at some point in our lives, and we have to overcome that adversity. Yeah. And obviously you're no different, and overcoming those obstacles. So, on the field and in life. So for yourself, who do you lean on for support, and what have you learned about yourself during, some challenging times?
Well, Brian, that when I went through that adversity, that mess, all the stuff that I went through, it was tough for me because, I was a winner all my life, since I was a kid. When I was in Little League, it was tough going through that situation. And then I had my mentor, Steve McNair, and he passed away. So I was kind of lost for a moment. And that made me have to really find out who I am. And I kind of, definitely God. I pray my Pastor Smith, always keep his hands on me and always praying for me. But I was mostly a family guy. So, at that time, I had a really outstanding PR lady, was Denise White. Shout out to Denise White. She did a really good job of helping me get in touch with Magic Johnson and Dwayne Wade, because Dwayne Wade was going through the similar situation when he got hurt, and he had to, get back to who he wanted to be, and which he did, and end up winning the NBA Finals. I had really good guys that I can talk to that was kind of similar and went through those type of situations. And when I heard from them guys, I'm like, God, you'll be all right. You're young. You are a smart, intelligent young man. You dress well. You speak well. All you have to do is just go grind and keep working. You got this situation going on, but it's not going to be every day. So just worry about fixing it and move on from the situation. So until that day, I found out that I was even tougher than what I thought I was mentally wise. So I just kind of, worked at it and fixed it. I wasn't a guy that used to mope about it and cry about it. I used to just put it in the past. And Steve, before he passed away, he said, just go out there and do what you're supposed to do. Kill him with kindness. Put a smile on your face and go do what you got to do. And that's what I did. I put it on the back of my shoulder and I just, took care of my responsibilities. But it wasn't easy at all. And I tell everybody that I had to learn from that. And I had to keep a positive energy. I had to stay positive mentally so I can move forward in a positive way instead of a negative way.
Sure, absolutely, and that's great. And we're gonna have just for the fans again out there who are sending in questions. We'll get to those in just a minute. We just have a few more things before we get to those questions, but we got to go back to Texas and the passionate fans down there in Austin and all around the country that support the University of Texas program and all the sports and all those student athletes, both the men and women. There's a lot of success down there. What does the University of Texas and those fans and those supporters mean to you, as all those Texas Exes out there around the country?
Oh, man. My alumni at Texas, man, they mean a lot to me because a lot of them has helped me through my struggles and mentoring me, just things that I didn't know about and helping me with my business, which steps to go and what direction to lead in. So my alumni, I can honestly say I really do love them for just being there for me and having somebody I can call and bump questions to. So they know exactly who I'm talking about. They're probably watching. If they're not, I wish I would say their name, but I'm not going to put their name. But I really appreciate my UT alumni guys because they have helped me out a lot. And not only me, but a lot of us guys to say that once we're done playing the game that we love, it's not an easy transition. So, but if you have some people around you and some people that you look up to, which I tell everybody and young people and young ladies and young males, I'm like, when you at these different seminars or you listening to this CEO or, whoever he may be, and he's taking his time out of his schedule to come give you some information or some knowledge about some life skills or business skills, you need to take his card and make sure you keep in communication with him or her and let them know you appreciate it. And thank you for taking the time out your schedule for coming in and speaking with me or meeting with me. And it shows that you're maturing, and in everything that might go on in your life, you have somebody to call and lean on. And I bet you that person going to remember that you emailed them and said, thank you for taking your time out and things like that. So I always kept in communication with a lot of my mentors while I was playing the game and then after the game. And so when it was time for me to really get questions and things from them, they didn't hesitate. They was like, Vince, we are so happy for you. We're very proud of you. Anything you may need, I'm a phone call away. So just to hear that as a young man, now I need to go do my research. Now I need to go get my resume together. So just like I was trying to be the best quarterback on the football field, now as a businessman, I have to put my time in it the same way. So I just really appreciate my UT alums for, being there for me on the business aspect or and as well as just loving me for just who I am as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we have a lot of great questions here, so I'm going to try to get as much. I know, right? There's a lot, and it's great because Vince and Finn, thank you so much. But the one person I definitely want to bring up, who is a part of our Rose Bowl family. So if he's out there watching, Coach Mac Brown, we would love to have you on here one day. And I know you're doing great things at University of North Carolina with the Tar Heels, and so I'm expecting great things there. But Coach Brown, playing for him and winning a national title with Coach Brown at Texas, what'd you learn from him, and were you able to apply that to your life, either in the game or after the game, now that you've been done playing?
Yeah, Mac Daddy is like my best friend, father figure, best friend, all above, homeboy, all of the above. I have a lot of respect for Coach Brown. It started when he came and recruited me. And I tell this story all the time. What made me really love him, he's a very respectful person, especially to women. A lot of times when we was at the practice, if he had to say some bad things, he'll tell our women trainers, like, and his wife, Miss Sally, hey, y'all back up a little bit. I don't want y'all to hear this. And it showed what type of person he was. You know, when he came and recruited me, and I'm raised by nothing but women. They my family. So for him to come in the house, definitely to recruit me in that neighborhood, in the hood, and him, Coach Greg Davis, Coach Drake, may he rest in peace. To come in there and say, hey, Vince, I want you to come play for the University of Texas, not at wide receiver, but at quarterback. And he was respectful to the women in my household because we had a small house and we didn't have much chairs and things like that. So I sat on the floor and Coach Brown sat on the floor with me. And I tell this story all the time. I'm like, Coach Brown, I just want to let you know we got rats and roaches, man, down here. I don't know if you want to sit down here. But I have so much respect for that man. You know, I used to love on Thursdays after practice how he'll read a letter to us from a Make-A-Wish kid, and he's on his deathbed. And he was always telling us, man, this is, you know, don't put all your eggs in the basket just because playing this football game. I want you guys to really appreciate this game and really do appreciate life. And he was always like that. And I really do appreciate it because sometimes you can get to the point of just really focusing on just sports and just forget about life. But he always bring you right back down and humble you back down that even though we was winning all his games, let me read you something to bring you right back down to earth. And he used to do that all the time, and I really do appreciate it. So he was always making sure not only was we handling our business on the football field, but make sure we go to class. I want you guys to be outstanding dads, husbands. He used to do that, and then he used to lead by example with his wife and Miss Sally. So I appreciate Coach Brown a lot, man. I can't say it enough. That's my boy right there.
Sure. Absolutely. Love Coach Brown as well. And as I said, Coach Brown, if you're watching, we'll be talking to you soon. Hopefully get you on here on Rose Bowl Live. Okay. The last question we have before we get to the fan questions is you are now a member of the College Football Hall of Fame, 2019 class. It's an unbelievable honor. Congratulations to you and your family for getting there. It's a pretty amazing thing. When you look back on your career and coming out of Houston and playing at the University of Texas, winning 2 MVPs, winning a national title, going to the Pro Bowl, and the ups and downs of football and life, but you're recognized as one of the best ever.
Man.
What things come to your mind? Is it the players? Is it the games? Is it the coaches? Is it the practices? What is it?
I think it's just my determination. When you're a kid growing up where I grew up at in the south side of Houston, and you was always doubted and always hated on, the media saying you're not going to play quarterback, even some of your peers, you're not going to college. That stuff to me was motivation to say, no, I am. Even the school system even say that you wasn't going to graduate. As a black young man, that's all you hear as a kid, and then that's all you see in your community. So I was one of those kids that sit in a tree at night and just talk to God about, how do I do this? And just praying about it. So I had so much tremendous confidence in myself because people didn't have the confidence in me. So I had to believe in myself. And I always was telling myself, you can do this. You can do this. My high school coach used to say, you can do this, Vince. You can do whatever you want to if you just put time in it and go get it. And, when I had those type of people preaching that in my head and I'm preaching it to myself, I was always like, okay, I'm going to show the people that was doubting me. And my little brother, Propane, Chris Dudley, he has this saying, you was born to lose, but raised to win. I really love that so much. Because it's so true. As a black male, you was born already to lose, but your parents and your surroundings and your community raised you to win. And I was that kid. He was that kid. A lot of my peers was those people, and we didn't take the no. We was always like, if somebody say no, we was like, all right, I'm gonna show you. You gonna tell me I can't? All right, watch this.
Yeah.
And I go put my helmet on, or I go put my cleats on, a working hat, or my boots, and I go grind and get it. And it has to be you. It can't be nobody else. You can take all the information and knowledge from anybody across the world, But if you don't apply it and use it and work at it with who you are as a person, you're not going to be successful. So I was that kid that when people tell me no, I just used to laugh and be like, all right, you better watch out.
Exactly. Love it. So we'll get to these questions here. First off, since you talked about earlier, Chan's mock kind of helping you.
Yeah.
And the guy who followed you also had a fantastic career at the University of Texas in Colt McCoy. Yeah. Were you able to give him any tips or advice? Were you able to talk with him at all before you moved on?
Are you saying Colt McCoy?
Yeah. So I said, were you able to give any advice or talk to him before you made the jump to the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of love to Major Applewhite as well, one of the outstanding quarterbacks that played at Texas as well. When he came back to UT to coach, a lot of times, when I was younger, I didn't understand a lot that, my offensive coordinator was talking about because, again, I didn't know defenses. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what cover two as much as that I knew at the time when I was following him when he was talking about the plays. Okay, when we have this cover two, I want you to think about this guy. This is the concept. I didn't know about that because, again, I was a kid that came from a veer running threat offense. So I had an opportunity to ask Applewhite one day after Coach Davis' meeting. I say, man, I really don't understand a lot of the stuff that he's saying. Mm-hmm. And, Colt McCoy, little baby face, still to this day, Colt McCoy was sitting there too. And he was like, me neither. I said, and then, what I respect about Applewhite, he was like, man, listen, y'all boys meet me 3 days a week at 7 a.m. in the morning. And I'm like, oh, Lord, 7 a.m. I'm already got to get up and go to class and work out. But I went, and guess who showed up? Colt McCoy. He was right there with me. And I got a lot of respect for Coy, and it showed me as a young man his determination that he wanted to be a really good quarterback. So I was very proud of Colt McCoy because he was always underneath my wing with me everywhere I go. And when we was at that Rose Bowl game, he was walking next to me. In that moment, I had an opportunity to tell him, I say, man, this is going to be you one day. So you remember everything that's going on right now, because when your moment comes, you're going to know how to handle it. And he did. Only thing what happened to him, he got hurt against Alabama, but he led his team to that national championship. Yep. And I was really hurt for him when I walked in that locker room and see that he was hurt and he wasn't able to go, to see the pain in his eyes, because he is a leader. He's a really good guy. He wanted to be out there with his teammates, and he couldn't. So I'm very proud of Coach for just standing around me and paying attention and doing the things that he needed to do for him to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would be remiss if I didn't also give you the accolades that you deserve, because you're also in the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame here in Pasadena. And you went in 2018. And what was it like to come back to the Rose Bowl, to come back to Pasadena, come back to the Rose Bowl Stadium? You'd won 2 games there, scored 7 touchdowns, and were being inducted into the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame. What was that like for you?
Oh, man. I would just remember when Coach Brown called me, and the College Hall of Fame committee, they called me. And I remember when somebody knocked on the door, I was like, who is this at the door? And it was FedEx. They sent me my football to say that I was going in. And I was just, I was just so happy because, again, a lot of people don't understand that everybody think this type of stuff is easy. The things that I went through and things I did on the football field, accolades and all these things, that's not easy to be called one of the best college players to ever play the game, because there's so many other guys that's out there that's unbelievable as well. And to be one of those guys to go, to get on that stage and receive that ring and that jacket and that beautiful plaque, it was a blessing, man, of the hard work that I had put in, as well as with my teammates and being a leader. A lot of people like to talk about the game, but it was more so as a leader caring about your teammates. And I did a lot of that with my brothers, and I did it in the NFL. It wasn't always about the game with me. It was always trying to bring the best ability out of my teammates as well. So I enjoyed every moment at that College Hall of Fame, going in with, these guys like Derek McFadden. You know, there's some legendary guys in there. Fletch, Torrey Hall. Oh my God, beast. What's my man with the Pittsburgh Steelers? USC free safety. I forget his. I can't believe I can't remember his
Troy
name.
Polamalu?
Troy. Going in with Troy. I had to tell him a story like, Troy, man, you know you debated me and you picked me off that year in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I was at Bo Scaife to throw to the tight end, and you debated me to throw the ball to the back of the end zone. You picked me off. You started laughing.
Exactly.
So to go in with those guys and some of the outstanding, coaches that went in, I mean, it was an unbelievable moment for me to know that I was a part of some history and a brotherhood that I know that I can call these guys anytime I want. And if I need anything, it's vice versa. It's to go into that brotherhood with those guys. This go down in history, and it's just for my kids.
True.
I didn't really have a father figure growing up. Yeah. So the things that I can engrave into my kids now and tell them, I want you to do better than dad, and to know that they can always go to the College Hall of Fame and see their dad's name in there, or let alone my son, he can get his name in there if he wants to. So I'm just motivated about that, and I'm very happy that I get to represent not only my entire family, but the state of Texas and the University of Texas as one of the best guys that ever played the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a quick one-hitter for you. Who was your favorite teammate at Texas?
Favorite teammate?
Yeah,
I don't have just one.
I know, right? So we'll put a group of them. So
yeah, I think Selvin Young, my brother. I mean, that's my boy, Selvin Young, man. We do business together. I'm very proud of him. We're really close to this day. He's in Houston. So I think Selvin Young is one of my great guys. Derek Johnson, me and Cedric Benson was very close. May he rest in peace. Me and Ricky, that's my boy. We always doing autograph signings all over the world right now. So, yeah, I think Selvin Young, Casey Studdard, the group of guys, man. I love each and last one of those guys, man. But Selvin Young, I think, is my closest guy right now to this day.
And then some of the things that another quick hitter. What are you doing now? Post football. What are you doing now? I know you talked about real estate and so forth. And what else are you doing?
Yeah, so real estate at Vince Young Steakhouse. Make sure y'all check it out when y'all go to Austin. Yeah. My guys, Phil over there is doing the thing over there. I'm in transportation infrastructure business, B2Z engineering. We trying to make sure our community is safe. That's mostly in Crunch Fitness gyms, trying to make sure people understand health and making sure you're taking care of your body and things like that. So I got some really good things going on that I'm very happy about. And I'm staying in the community, speaking to kids all the time. Is it high school, if it's middle school, if it's pro players, I try to keep my line open for those guys, to help them guys make really good decisions on not only just sports, but life stuff as well. So I've just been, and then my family. I'm a family guy. So I'm barbecuing, I'm cooking, I'm even vegan right now, guys. Oh my God. Lost the bet, so I got to do vegan for the whole July right now.
Yeah. And with the NFL, we talked about Texas in the NFL. What do you cherish about the NFL? And then what would you do differently if you had to do it all over again?
What I love about the NFL that I'm in a brotherhood and I made it to that point.
Absolutely.
The relationships, business-wise, and my teammates and brothers, that we got a group text, about 30 or 40 of us, that is so funny to keep in touch with all my brothers on a little group text that we have. Just the relationships that I built with my teammates. And then outside of that, I really did a lot of good things with business-wise, getting to know different people in the business world as well. So I think NFL was really good to me. I didn't have a long career like I wanted to, but it actually still, did a really good thing. They don't talk about it. I was leading the lead in passing ratings for a long time. I wish they could start talking about that. I won a lot of games underneath my belt.
Yeah, right.
They don't really talk about it, but I didn't have the career that I wanted to, but I enjoyed myself, playing in the Pro Bowl with all the talented guys, playing with Ray Lewis, going against Zach Thomas. I mean, the names go on that, when I was playing Super Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, I know.
Some of those guys were still out there on that team. So to go against them, to play that game and go against some of my heroes, Brett Favre. I mean, it was a memorable and something I'll cherish and be happy about for the rest of my life, because it's not easy to get to the NFL at all. So I just want to say, I appreciate the NFL for and the Tennessee Titans and Philadelphia Eagles for giving me the opportunity to play the game that I love.
Absolutely. And lastly, when you walk down in the streets of Austin and you say, and the passion of that, and you say Rose Bowl, what do the fans there say?
First of all, I can't walk down no Austin. I can't even do that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, when you're rolling by and you roll down the window, and you say Rose Bowl to those fans there in Austin, Texas.
They always say what I said when I got that trophy. I'm bringing the trophy all the way back to Austin, Texas, baby. That's what everybody be messing with me about. They was like, man, you was so country on there. I was like, we are country.
Yeah. Very, very good. Well, look, it's been a fantastic night, and this is great to have Vince on and have a great Rose Bowl family member. And we're happy everybody who's out there who listened in and going to watch this maybe later, that we're so thankful that you guys are supporting us at the Rose Bowl. And just so you know, we will be doing a historical marker for that 06 Texas team at the Rose Bowl. So for those of you who want to get more information on that, go to our website for the Rose Bowl Legacy Foundation and drop me a line, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, we're going to honor that 06 Rose Bowl winning team, national champion, University of Texas Longhorns. So we can say hook 'em for tonight. So, for Vince Young, thank you so much for being a part of this tonight. We can't thank you enough. Just for other people who love to come and watch Rose Bowl live, we're going to a Thursday night format. It'll be every 2 weeks. So our next time we'll have Rose Bowl live will be July 23rd, Thursday night, and we will look forward to having you at that time. We can't thank everybody enough for being here. Thank all the folks in the University of Texas, Vince Young, all the friends and family of the Rose Bowl, to keep America Stadium the granddaddy of them all. So we look forward to seeing all of you very soon as we get through this challenging time. We look forward to seeing you all here in sunny Pasadena at America Stadium, the Rose Bowl. Thank you all.
You are looking live.
There's something sacred about this stadium and its setting. There's nothing like this venue, in my opinion, in all of sports.
The setting is about as good as anywhere in the country, with the San Gabriel Mountains in the backdrop. It's always picturesque.
We're going to play football. Yes, he's going for the corner. He's got it. Vince Young scores.